Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Emily. If you're here with us today, we just want to say thank you. And if you clicked on this episode because you're feeling tired, stuck, or maybe even ready to give up on learning English, you're not alone.
Seriously. That feeling, the frustration, the burnout, the voice in your head saying, "Why am I even doing this?" It's something every learner experiences at some point. So first, take a breath. You're not failing. You're human.
And that's exactly what today's episode is all about: what to do when you feel like giving up on English. Not in a motivational poster kind of way, but in a real, honest, and compassionate conversation about what's happening inside your mind.
We're going to break this down together, why these feelings show up, what they really mean, and how you can respond in a healthy way. Because feeling stuck doesn't mean you're not improving, it just means you might need to look at your journey differently.
So, let's begin by asking the hard question: why do we feel like giving up? A lot of times, it's not just about English itself. It's the pressure we put on ourselves. The fear that we're not good enough. Or that we'll never catch up.
Exactly. Think about the expectations you're carrying. Maybe you thought you'd be fluent by now. Maybe you keep comparing yourself to others who seem to learn faster. Or maybe you've been studying for months or years and still struggle with things like speaking or listening. It's exhausting, right?
Yeah, and that exhaustion is real. But here's something we don't say enough: you're allowed to feel tired. You're allowed to slow down. You're even allowed to pause. Taking a break doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're listening to your needs.
And honestly, when people say they want to quit, what they really mean is, "I don't know if I can handle the disappointment anymore." It's not the learning that hurts, it's the doubt. The fear. The feeling of never being enough.
So one powerful thing you can do is change your definition of success. Instead of thinking, "I need to speak perfect English now," shift it to, "I'm learning how to express myself, even if it's not perfect yet." That's progress. That's fluency in the making.
And take a moment to recognize how far you've come. You may not feel fluent, but are you understanding more than you did 6 months ago? Do you recognize new words? Can you read this podcast title without translating it word by word? That's real growth.
Another thing you can do is talk about it. Don't keep your struggle silent. Share it with a friend, a teacher, or even a journal. Sometimes just saying, "I'm overwhelmed," gives you permission to stop fighting yourself.
And remember, English is a skill. It's not a test of your intelligence or worth. Just like learning to play an instrument or drive a car, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to take time. And it's definitely okay to rest.
There's also no one right way to learn. If textbooks feel boring right now, switch to watching a funny show in English. If speaking makes you anxious, try writing. If you're tired of grammar, just listen to music. Let your routine breathe with you.
And on the days when you feel like you just can't do it anymore, remind yourself why you started. Maybe it was to travel, to connect with people, to feel confident, or to open up new opportunities. That reason still matters. It's still there, even when things feel heavy.
So don't throw away all your progress because of one hard week or month. Don't let a temporary feeling make a permanent decision. Learning English is a long road, but every step, even the slow ones, moves you forward.
And one more thing to keep in mind: language learning isn't linear. It's not a staircase where every day you go one step up. Some days you stay on the same step. Some days you feel like you've slipped down a few. But those steps are still part of the journey. They are building your strength. They are teaching you resilience.
Absolutely. It's okay if you're not seeing immediate results. Sometimes, your brain is quietly connecting things in the background. You may not realize it now, but weeks or even months later, you'll suddenly understand something you struggled with, and you'll think, wow, that used to be so hard for me.
You're planting seeds. And seeds don't bloom the day after you water them. They need time, care, and patience. So does your English. And so do you.
And that patience needs to extend to your emotional well-being too. Because pushing through when your tank is empty doesn't make you stronger, it makes you crash. But learning to pause and care for yourself, that's real strength. That's what creates long-term success.
So maybe, instead of giving up on English, give up on the pressure. Give up on the timeline. Give up on perfectionism. And make space for curiosity again, for play, for joy, for simply liking the process without having to constantly prove something.
Let yourself be a beginner, even if you've been learning for a while. Beginners ask questions. Beginners make mistakes. Beginners explore without shame. And you're allowed to stay in that mindset as long as you need to.
Because the moment you release the need to get there fast, you open the door to deeper learning. Learning that isn't just about vocabulary and grammar, but about growth, identity, courage, and healing.
And if no one's told you this yet, we're proud of you. For showing up. For listening to this. For not giving up even when you've thought about it 100 times. You're doing better than you think.
You really are.
And let's be honest, sometimes what we need most isn't a new grammar tip or vocabulary list. Sometimes, we just need to hear that it's okay to struggle. That the feelings we're having are valid. That it's normal to feel stuck, or tired, or even a little lost on this journey. Because learning a language like English isn't just about education, it's emotional, too.
Exactly. You're not just memorizing phrases, you're opening up a new way of expressing who you are. And that takes courage. It takes vulnerability. Think about it, you're letting yourself sound imperfect, make mistakes in front of others, possibly even feel embarrassed, and you keep going. That's not failure. That's bravery.
And when you hit those moments when you feel like everything's too much, when you feel like your brain just can't take another English lesson or practice session, that doesn't mean you're weak. It means you care. It means you've been trying hard. And sometimes, trying too hard for too long without rest leads to burnout.
So what's the solution? It's not quitting. It's not forcing. It's shifting. Shift your focus from trying to be fluent to trying to be consistent. Shift from trying to impress others to trying to support yourself. Shift from looking for perfect results to noticing small wins, like understanding a sentence you couldn't last month, or writing a journal entry in English without using a translator.
Those small wins matter more than you think. They build confidence slowly, quietly. You may not notice the growth day by day, but over time, it adds up. Just like healing. Just like learning. Just like life.
So if you're listening to this and you've been feeling overwhelmed, tired, or tempted to give up, this is your reminder that it's okay to slow down. It's okay to rest. You don't have to give up. You can simply breathe, take a step back, and come back when you're ready. Because English will still be here. And so will we.
And it helps to reframe your progress, too. Maybe instead of saying, I should be fluent by now, you say, I'm still learning, and that's okay. That mindset shift can make a huge difference in how you feel every day. Progress doesn't mean racing toward fluency. It means showing up with patience, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard.
Yes, and when you feel like you're the only one struggling, remind yourself, thousands, maybe millions of learners are feeling just like you at this very moment. Comparing yourself to others will only blur your own journey. Your story is different. Your pace is different. And that's exactly how it should be.
There's also something powerful about leaning into the parts of learning English that actually bring you joy. That might be listening to music, watching a favorite show with subtitles, or writing a journal entry about your day. These small moments help you reconnect with the why behind your learning, why you started, why you care, and why it's worth continuing.
And speaking of journaling, even just writing down, "Today was hard, but I'm still here," is a form of progress. It proves you're still in the game. That kind of emotional honesty can make your language learning feel less like a test, and more like a conversation with yourself. A way of healing. A way of rebuilding.
Because at the end of the day, English isn't just a subject, it's a tool for expression. A way to connect. A mirror to reflect your growth, not just as a learner, but as a person. When it feels overwhelming, you don't have to push harder, you just have to pause, breathe, and remember, this is part of the process. You're doing better than you think.
One thing that really helps when you're in that heavy space, where English feels like too much, is to stop thinking of it as something you have to conquer. It's not a mountain you must climb perfectly. It's more like a path you're walking. Sometimes you run, sometimes you crawl, sometimes you sit down and rest. And all of that is still movement forward.
Yes, and don't underestimate the value of those pauses. Pausing doesn't mean you're falling behind. It means you're listening to yourself. It means you're giving your brain and heart a moment to catch up with all the effort you've been putting in. Language learning isn't just about input and output. It's also about processing, absorbing, feeling.
And that's why it's okay if some days you just want to review something easy. Or rewatch an old video. Or speak only one sentence out loud. That's not failure, that's sustainability. That's how you protect your energy and keep your learning relationship healthy. It's like watering a plant gently instead of flooding it and hoping it grows faster.
I love that. And honestly, we forget that emotional balance is part of learning. When you're mentally overwhelmed, your brain can't absorb new information properly. So if you take time to relax, to laugh, to do something fun, you're actually helping your English in the long run. Calm minds remember more. Stressed minds shut down.
Exactly. And sometimes we just need to hear that it's okay to feel tired. It's okay to not be excited about English every single day. But that doesn't mean you've lost your motivation, it just means you're human. And that's what we're learning to work with, not against.
Another thing that can really help is to remind yourself why you started. Not the pressure, not "I need to get a job," or "I have to pass this exam." But the deeper reason. Maybe it was because you wanted to connect with people around the world. Maybe it was because you loved the way English sounded in your favorite song. Or because you dreamed of traveling, of understanding stories, of expressing yourself freely. That spark, that original reason, it still matters. It's still there, even if it's a little buried under stress right now.
Yeah, and that reason is what gives your journey meaning. Not how fast you're going. Not whether you're making mistakes. But the heart behind it. Because learning a language is personal. And when you reconnect with that personal why, it can give you the strength to keep going, even if you're just taking tiny steps today.
And you're allowed to take tiny steps. You're allowed to go slow. You're allowed to say, "I don't know everything yet, but I'm still trying." That's powerful. That's brave. And that's how real growth happens. Not in the pressure to be perfect, but in the courage to continue, gently, honestly, and with kindness toward yourself.
So if you're listening right now and feeling like giving up, please don't. Take a pause, take a breath, but don't quit on yourself. Progress isn't always loud or fast. Sometimes it's quiet, invisible, and slow. But it's still progress. You are learning even when it doesn't feel like it. You are improving even when you make mistakes. And you are absolutely not alone.
Exactly. Remember, learning English isn't just about vocabulary or grammar, it's about finding your voice, building your confidence, and growing through the journey. And even on the days when it's hard, especially on those days, you're doing something incredible.
We believe in you. Keep going at your own pace, and be gentle with yourself along the way. Thanks for joining us today.
Take care of your heart, your mind, and your motivation. We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep learning, keep breathing, and keep believing in yourself. Bye for now.